It's time for the 5-Minute Brand. Quick and dirty tips for creating a killer personal brand. This is not about logos and designs. This is about telling your story in a way that captures the attention of the people who are already looking for you. This is branding from the inside out. Here's your host, Robyn Sales.
I have said this on many stages and in many workshops and in many client conversations, and that is that repetition builds reputation. Repetition builds reputation. Repetition builds reputation. A well-crafted brand doesn't mean squat if nobody sees it. In episode 1, I talked about the importance of consistency, but this goes beyond consistency. I want you to apply your brand ruthlessly. Everywhere that I encounter your brand, online, offline, in print, everywhere that I encounter it, it should look and should feel the same. I should have the same experience. I should hear the same story. One of the mistakes I see frequently is when a business has spent so much time, money, effort to create a beautiful and compelling brand. And then they go and immediately break that brand and they create friction for their potential clients and for their existing following. One of my favorite examples, they'll know that I'm talking about them. Hi, guys. It is a couple who runs a real estate podcast, and the whole brand was built off of the wife of this husband and wife team being the licensed real estate agent and the expert, and everything was built around her. And then when you went to their Instagram page, it was all the husband. Like there was only a couple pictures of the wife whom the whole brand is built off of, and most of it was the husband because he was the one doing all the social media, and they just didn't see what a huge disconnect that could be for people who were trying to get to know their brand. So I want you to think of some big brands out there that we think of as ubiquitous. And one of the reasons they've become ubiquitous in our lifetime, in our culture, is because they are ruthlessly applying their brand. It is absolutely consistent across every touch point. Coca-Cola, for example, even when they put out holiday content, the thing that's always there is that Coca-Cola red, which is trademarked, by the way. You can't use that specific color red. But there are certain elements to their brand, the visual aspects of their brand, that are always consistent and always applied, no matter what they're celebrating. And then what we do as smaller brands is like, oh, we want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And so we put out all this social media and all this marketing that's green in honor of St. Patrick's Day, when green has nothing to do with our brand. And people who aren't deeply familiar with us or our brand are confused. So it doesn't matter what holiday you're celebrating, what sale you're having, what thing is going on, your brand needs to be applied ruthlessly. The big brands that can change things up and swap colors every now and then can only do so because they're so well established that it's not going to cause friction. And they do it in such a controlled way that it doesn't surprise us. We know when it's coming, we know what to expect. A great example of that would be the Starbucks holiday cups. Right. So the only time that they're not the distinctive green and white cups is the holidays, but that doesn't confuse us and we don't freak out about it because they've told us, they've trained us, they've conditioned us to expect these cups, but only at this time. Otherwise, everything is the same. Everything is consistent, whether you're in a Starbucks in an airport kiosk or a full flagship store. So that consistency and the ruthless application of the brand and the brand elements is key. I want you to start thinking about how much reputation you're building with your repetition. Is it truly being repeated out there? Are you telling the same story on every platform? If I look you up on LinkedIn and then on Facebook and then on Instagram and then on Twitter, am I going to see the same profile pic or 4 different profile pics? Am I going to see the same story or 4 different stories? Where is your brand on the scale of being ruthlessly consistent with how it is applied. Here's some of the places I want to look for consistency and reputation when it comes to your brand. Your website, your emails. Are you consistent in the tone and perspective of your writing and all of your communications? Your marketing, and that's physical marketing, digital marketing, anything, everywhere. Social media, any content that you put out, anything that's printed, and definitely something that's going to leave with your clients and potential clients, like worksheets, flyers, books, promotional materials. How consistent is your brand?
Please hold for a very important message.
The 5-Minute Brand is brought to you by Launching Your Success, not your average training because you're not average. Check out our innovative personal branding programs at launchingyoursuccess.com/brand. Notes from this episode and more can be found at 5minutebrand.com.